The stage is dark. The final notes of a ballad have faded into the rafters of a sold-out theater. The applause, that thunderous sound that has sustained a career for 40 years, it just dies down to a silence that feels, I don't know, heavy, different. It's late 2025, and the touring machine that has outlasted vinyl, cassettes, and CDs suddenly grinds to a halt. The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, the music stopped.
It's a moment that sends a shiver through the industry. I mean, we are talking about a man who statistically has outsold Madonna and the Rolling Stones in the UK charts. He's the Iron Man of Irish country music.
And the headlines just screamed it, Daniel O'Donnell's shocking health secret.
And for a minute there, the world held its breath. Was this it? Was the crooner finally hanging up the microphone?
Or, and this is where it gets really fascinating, is this actually the smartest survival strategy Hollywood has ever seen? Welcome to StarScope Report. Today, we're stripping away all the tabloid noise to look at the mechanics of longevity. We're not just talking about a canceled tour. We're talking about a complete reinvention of a legend. We're digging into the official statements, the industry analysis, and the real story behind that sudden withdrawal from the stage.
We've got sources ranging from official press releases to strategic industry reports that, honestly, they paint a very different picture than the panic you see on social media. This isn't just about a health scare involving recurrent chest infections. It's a masterclass in celebrity rebranding, involving a B&B road trip and a very, very candid wife.
So let's unpack the truth about Daniel O'Donnell's hiatus. Let's get into it.
We have to start with the bombshell itself.
Right. Back in May 2025, the news breaks. According to Oasis FM, and an official announcement, Daniel O'Donnell, who's 64 at this point, announces an extended break starting January 2026. Now, let's be real for a second. In rock and roll years, 64 is practically adolescence. Mick Jagger is still running marathons on stage in his 80s. So when a press release says break at 64, my cynicism radar just goes off. Is this code for a retirement? Is this the soft exit?
Usually, yes. When you see exhaustion or break in a press release, it's often PR speak for the tickets aren't selling or, I can't do this anymore. But the phrasing here was incredibly specific and honestly medically significant. It wasn't just vague fatigue. It was driven by specific health challenges, severe allergies and recurrent chest infections that had been plaguing his recent tours.
That is a very specific detail to release. Most celebrities would just say personal reasons.
It is, and it's crucial because it points to a mechanical failure of the job. He actually stated that he found his singing was being bothered by these intolerances. He needed to recharge and recover. I mean, think about the physiology of a singer. A chest infection isn't just a cold, it's a breakdown of the instrument. If your lungs and vocal cords are inflamed, you literally cannot do the job. And if you force it, you risk permanent scarring.
And the lifestyle just exacerbates that. We think of touring as glamorous private jets and champagne. But for a working artist like O'Donnell, it's buses, different hotel HVAC systems every night, different detergents.
Different pollen in the air, catered food that might have hidden ingredients. It's an allergic minefield.
It's a nightmare.
Precisely. It sounds like the physical act of the touring lifestyle, the environment itself, was physically rejecting him. It's a lesson in listening to your body. Even legends get sick from bad catering or environmental shifts. If he kept pushing through that inflammation, he risked permanent vocal damage. So the break is actually a preservation tactic. He's stopping now so he can sing later.
But looking at the sources, particularly the interviews about his personal life, there's a deeper layer here than just pollen and dust. It wasn't just physical, it was emotional. And I think this is the part people miss when they look at the headlines.
You can't decouple the physical health from the mental load. Daniel faced a brutal couple of years leading up to this 2026 break. We often forget that celebrities are human beings processing grief while trying to entertain us. He faced the sudden death of his sister, who was only in her 60s. And perhaps even more impactful on a professional level, his longtime manager and friend, Kieran Kavanagh, died at 67.
That is a massive blow. In this industry, the manager isn't just an employee, that's the person who runs your life. They're the gatekeepers, the confidant, the strategist. Losing that person, that's not just grief, that's a structural collapse of your entire support system.
It absolutely was a wake-up call. There's this poignant quote from Daniel in one of our sources where he says, "You don't know what's going to be ahead of you when you're in your 60s. You can't look back until you go forward." That is the sound of a man realizing that time is not infinite. When your contemporary, the person who holds your career together passes away, the idea of grinding out another 25-city tour suddenly seems a lot less important. It forces you to look in the calendar and say, how many summers do I have left?
So naturally, the fans panicked. Social media went into meltdown asking if this was the end of We Daniel. But we need to clarify this right now. A spokesperson confirmed this is a temporary break.
Right. He's not vanishing into a monastery. He's still honoring commitments that are, low stress. He's doing the Opry Daniel tapings for TG4, and he's still booked for the Gertrude Byrne Mediterranean cruise in September 2026.
Which, let's be honest, a Mediterranean cruise with fans is less like touring and more like a paid vacation where you sing a few songs after dinner. It's high touch with the fans, but low stress on the body.
Exactly. It's a controlled environment. No bus travel, same bed every night on the ship, controlled food. It proves he still wants to perform. He just can't do the grind. But here's the key insight. If you think Daniel is just sitting at home in Donegal wearing slippers during this break, you are dead wrong. He's actually in the middle of a massive career pivot involving his wife that nobody saw coming. And arguably, this pivot saved his brand from becoming obsolete.
Coming up, how a road trip in a B&B and a viral moment with a woman named Anne turned a fading singer into a reality TV icon. Plus, the moment on live TV that left the entire nation in tears.
And that's not even the wildest part.
If you love uncovering the real stories behind the headlines, hit that subscribe button. We've got more industry secrets coming your way on StarScope Report.
Stay tuned so you don't miss what's coming next.
Okay, let's talk about the pivot. We're calling this, from stage to screen, the domestication of a superstar. Because usually when a singer goes to reality TV, it smells like desperation. It's what you do when the hits stop coming. But for O'Donnell, this feels different. It doesn't feel like he's chasing relevance. It feels like he's stumbled into a goldmine.
It was a masterstroke, whether accidental or calculated. According to a strategic industry analysis we looked at, the O'Donnells, Daniel and his wife Majella, realized something crucial. They work well on television. Touring is physically expensive, draining, and as we just established, bad for his health. TV, it's efficient. You film for a few minutes and you reach millions, and you sleep in your own bed or at least a comfortable B&B. It leverages his personality without taxing his body.
And the numbers back this up, because sometimes these shows are critical darlings, but nobody actually watches them.
The numbers are staggering. Let's look at Daniel and Majella's B&B road trip. This show aired on UTV Ireland initially. For the first episode, they broke records with 526,000 viewers. To put that in context for you, they beat EastEnders in that rating slot.
They beat EastEnders. In the UK and Ireland markets, that is the gold standard of viewership. That is wild. That's like a cooking show beating the Super Bowl in terms of relative market share.
And consider the premise. It's just them driving around Ireland, staying in B&Bs, and bickering over the GPS. It works because it deconstructs the star image. It destroys the pedestal.
It reminds me of the Osbournes, but much, much more polite. It relies on that fish out of water trope. You have this polished superstar sleeping in a guest room with floral wallpaper and eating rashers with the locals.
And there was this viral moment that I think really defines this whole era of his career.
Yeah.
It happened in Tulsk, County Roscommon. They pull up to a B&B owned by a woman named Anne Sheeran.
I've seen this clip. Oh my God, it's pure internet gold. You cannot script that kind of reaction.
Describing it doesn't do it justice, but essentially Anne opens the door, sees Daniel O'Donnell standing there, and basically loses her mind. She's screaming, "Is it yourself? Is it yourself?"
Yeah.
It became an absolute sensation. We're typing 1.5 million views on social media almost overnight.
That reaction, that genuine unscripted joy, is something you can't manufacture on a concert stage. It made Daniel accessible to a generation that maybe wouldn't buy his albums but would absolutely watch that clip on TikTok. It shifted him from my grandma's favorite singer to that funny guy from the internet. It bridged the generational gap.
And then they doubled down with Room to Improve. This was a cultural event in Ireland. They renovated their home in Donegal, but it wasn't a glossy crib-style show where they just brag about their wealth. It was them arguing over the budget. They got a 53% audience share. Over 1 million viewers watched them fight about retaining an ensuite bathroom.
But we have to give credit where it is due. This pivot works because of one specific factor. It's not Daniel, it's Majella. Because without her, Daniel is just polite.
The Majella effect. You have to understand the context here. Before Majella, Daniel's image was, well, let's be honest, it was sterile. He was often parodied. Remember Father Ted, the character E.O. and McLove, that jumper-wearing, cake-eating singer that all the older ladies loved but who had zero edge. That was a direct parody of Daniel. It painted him as almost sexless, safe, unhip.
It was brutal. He was the punchline of Irish comedy for a decade.
Exactly. But then comes Majella. She married Daniel in 2002, and she brought this modern, candid, irreverent energy. She wasn't afraid to speak her mind. She brought a level of raw authenticity that Daniel, with his polished stage persona, simply didn't have. She's the one who pokes fun at him. She's the audience surrogate.
And there was a specific moment that really solidified this, a shocking moment, but in a very different way than the health scare. This wasn't funny, this was raw.
The Late Late Show appearance in 2013. Majella had been diagnosed with breast cancer. Now, the old PR playbook would say, hide it, issue a statement, stay private, keep the brand clean. Instead, she went on live national television the week she started chemotherapy, and she had her head shaved. Live.
That is incredibly brave. That's not entertainment, that's vulnerability on a massive scale.
It wasn't just TV, it was advocacy. That single moment raised nearly €700,000 for the Irish Cancer Society. She turned her personal trauma into a public service. And by doing so, she shifted the brand. They weren't just the cute singing couple anymore. They were real people dealing with real pain.
And she's also been incredibly open about mental health and depression. It made the brand authentic. It shifted Daniel from being just a singer to being a national treasure alongside her. It's almost like they became the nation's aunt and uncle.
They are the perfect odd couple of reality TV. Daniel is traditional, a bit fussy, wants things just so. Majella is direct, funny, and keeps him grounded. You watch them and you think, I know that couple. I am that couple. It humanized him in a way 40 years of love songs never could.
So he's off the road for 2026. He's ruling the TV screen. But does this mean the music is dead? Because we found a tour schedule that says otherwise, and a trip to the other side of the world that explains a lot about his priorities.
Stick around to find out exactly where Daniel is hiding out during 2026 and the specific date you can expect to see him back on stage. It's sooner than you think.
Don't miss a beat of the celebrity world. Make sure you're subscribed to StarScope Report for daily updates.
Seriously, hit subscribe. You don't want to miss the deep dives we have planned.
Okay, segment 3. The unretirement and the future plans. We're calling this the 2027 comeback plan because let's be clear, this is a plan. It is calculated. It's not just drifting back into work.
It is. First off, where is he going? If he's not touring in 2026 and he's taking a break from the cameras for a bit, where in the world is Daniel O'Donnell?
Lean under.
Australia. According to our sources, Daniel and Majella are planning a massive 2 to 3 month trip to Australia in early 2027. But this isn't a tour. This is family time. They are going specifically to see their grandchild, Jack.
See, that circles back to the grief aspect we talked about earlier. Realizing life is short, he's prioritizing being a grandfather over being a star. It's the deathbed regret prevention strategy.
Right.
Nobody wishes they did one more concert in Des Moines. They wish they saw their grandkid.
Precisely. It's a long overdue family visit. But, and this is the key takeaway, the machine restarts. We have access to the future tour schedule. And this proves that the retirement rumors were totally unfounded. The break is finite.
So when does the King of Country return?
Mark your calendars. We are looking at late 2027. He is booked for the Crystal Grand Music Theater in Wisconsin Dells. Specifically, October 31st, 2027. Halloween with Daniel O'Donnell.
Wisconsin Dells, that's specific. It's not Madison Square Garden.
It's strategic. And straight after that, he has dates locked in for Branson, Missouri at the Mansion Theater in November 2027.
Ah, Branson. Now it makes sense. For those who don't know the industry, Branson is basically the mecca for this specific demographic. It's like Las Vegas, but for country music and family-friendly entertainment. It's high-volume, seated audiences, very controlled environments. You don't tour to the fans come to you.
Exactly. It solves the health problem. He stays in one hotel. The venue is climate-controlled. The sound system is dialed in perfectly. He is going right back to his core audience in the safest way possible. He's not trying to reinvent the wheel. He's returning to the hub. And he's not coming back empty-handed. There's a new album, Now and Then, which was released just before the break in late 2025.
I looked at the track list. It features covers like Take Me Home, Country Roads, but also Stevie Wonder's I Just Called to Say I Love You.
That track selection tells you everything. He knows what his audience wants. He's giving them comfort food. He's not trying to drop a techno remix album. He's given them the classics. He knows that after a 2-year absence, the fans want familiarity, not experimentation.
So how do we analyze this broadly? He takes 2026 off. He goes to Australia. He does some TV. Then he hits the U.S. in late 2027. Is this the blueprint for aging stars?
It's a strategic pause. If he kept going at the rate he was going with the chest infections and the allergies, he might have been forced into a permanent retirement by a major health crisis. a node on his vocal cords, or pneumonia. By taking 2026 off, he ensures he can tour in 2027. He's extending his career by pausing it. It's the lesson of the tortoise and the hare.
And it's also a lesson in diversification. If the voice fails or if the travel becomes too much permanently, they have the TV career. They have the Majella and Daniel brand. They have options. They've built a safety net out of their own personalities.
It really is a masterclass. We started this deep dive looking at a spotlight fading on an empty stage, wondering if it was the end. But it turns out they were just changing the bulb.
Or maybe just moving the spotlight to a different stage one that's in a B&B living room or a renovation site. Daniel O'Donnell proved that sometimes, to stay relevant, you don't have to sing louder, you just have to be more human. And maybe take a break when your body tells you to.
Absolutely. And honestly, it raises an interesting question for you listening. Do we actually prefer our stars when they are a little bit broken, a little bit messy, and arguing about bathroom tiles? I think the answer, based on the O'Donnells, is a resounding yes. We want to see ourselves in them.
That is a fascinating thought to leave us with. You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.
Catch you on the next deep dive.